Ooh, woo. Hello, chat. It's patch day, so you know we gotta wait a little while. Was there an event go? Okay, there's an event today. I've started. Okay. It's a daily log for the 3rd anniversary. Okay, yeah. I kind of fuck with the dark UI. Whew, okay. We are going to. Hold on, give me a second. Make sure OBS is capturing everything properly. Blah, 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 blah. Appears to be so. And obviously, spoilers for Canto 9, but I think should be self-explanatory in the name of the stream.
지금 필요한 것은 정보고 그리고 그것을 기반으로 하는 줄이다.
Oh, hey Silver, I just saw your DM. I don't know if you can hear me right now. But I do believe that is the case because it Streamplace is built upon the AT protocol, which is the same thing that Blue Sky is built upon. So it uses your Blue Sky account to be able to do the stuff like chat over on Streamplace. First order of business is intelligent sharing and deductive reasoning based on the available information.
나와 팀원들은 발피실로 향하는 통로를
Family's being loud. Apologies if you hear them in the background. My team and I were attacked in the hallway connected to the conference hall. The guy was, I'll be straight with you guys. Super, super duper strong. Would have stood my ground if only Hornet, that dumbass, were here. I would have stood my ground if only Hornet, that dumbass, were here. Blah. By Hornet, you're referring to the junior. Oh, hold on a second. The junior of our team, but he's really, really strong. So strong that, I've got it. There was this time when I, what was it again? Some kind of pastry, I think. Anywho. Hi, Silver, how you doing? I've got it. Where was I? Anywho, I got me some bread to snack on later, and in that split second, my back was turned. Hornet, that asshole, swiped it off my plate. Got so pissed off that I punched him right in his solar plexus to get him to cough it up, and he just went oof and swallowed my bread anyway. So, like, does that make any sense to you? Yeah, okay, I guess that makes him strong. Though Ezra's anecdote wasn't very illuminating, none of us bothered to ask for further clarification, as it seemed the only way to get an objective measure of Hornet's strength was to let her punch us in the solar plexus as well. So what's this Hornet up to now? Schmel peeked around as though she was expecting him to pop out from a hiding spot in the broadcast sector. You're going to lose your mind when you hear this. Listen up. What he's... Not yet, Ezra. That gal is tall? Yeah, Ezra is tall. Ezra is just ginormous, and we love her for it. Moses is also just pretty short, not gonna lie. Up to is a secret, it's classified stuff. Also, hold on a second, I just remembered I forgot to tell someone where I was live at. Give me just a second, chat. Okay, told him where I'm live at. Up to is a secret. It's classified stuff. Ezra trailed off awkwardly. I tend to analyze my enemies with observation and deduction. Try to identify their unique colors, the kind of weapons they use, their methodologies, whether they enjoy the slaughter or avoid it, their attitudes toward battle, all of it. Once I have that, I can get an idea of when to begin my counterattack, or what kind of weaknesses of theirs I can exploit, and that's how I've usually opened my path forward. But Moses inhaled sharply as though she missed her smoking pipe, which was nowhere to be seen at this moment. It was chaotic. It could not identify a single pattern in his behavior. He's an empty shell. His act of killing lacks any emotional touch.
무엇도 읽을 수
And that
없었어.
is why you couldn't get a read on him.
반대로 너는 너무나 선명해 보이는.
On the other hand, you appear so clearly to me.
뭔가를 베고 싶은 건가?
You seem so anxious to cut something down. Is that correct?
산산조각 났지만 그 파편 하나하나
You are broken, shattered, but every shard is keen and transparent, like a hail of small blades.
끊어내고 싶으면서도 끊어낼 수 없어서 더
A glass-like sword of many edges, so fragile with its futile wish to sever away what cannot be severed.
그 상처투성이 소리는 무얼 그렇게 죽여?
What is it that you grasp so tightly that in that scarred hand of yours?
너이 새끼. 멋대로 뭘
Little
보고
shit,
있는 거냐?
what are you peeking into?
팀장님한테 호칭이 지금
Hey, don't talk to our team leader like... Just as Ezra was about to give her stern warning, Hohenheim stepped in and changed the subject.
나와 여기 있는 마트는 실험실 앞에 있습니다.
To add to that, Martin here and I were in front of the laboratory when it occurred. At first, it began with the sound of rushing wind, something large and heavy cleaving through the air. The kind of sound one should never come to expect from a department like ours, so full of delicate machinery and containment units.
제 바로 앞이었습니다.
Happened right before my eyes. Something snapped the employee who was walking only a step ahead of me in half.
순간적으로 그런 생각이 들었죠. 한 상체가 탈출해.
First thing that came to mind was this: did an abnormality breach containment?
정말 격리실에서
But if such were the case, the alarm should have gone off.
자기가 말해준 것과 동일하네요.
So far, this tracks with So far, this tracks with what Miss Alyssa told us.
어떤 전조 증상도 없이
So there wasn't any warning at all before the attack.
자세히 보니 그건
So I got a better look at what was. What that was. I realized it was neither abnormality, peculum, nor a distortion. It was a massive scabbard.
그래도 칼집이 날아온 방향이나 칼집을 던진 것으로 추측되는 제가 태어난 표정.
When I looked toward where the scabbard came from, there stood a man who presumably threw the weapon,
책을 읽고 있었습니다.
reading a book like he was out on a stroll. And the book was Matthias. He must have been reading his book of vengeance.
범죄에 중지라.
First the thumb and now the middle.
수초 동안 멍하니 보고 있었는데 팀장님이 저를 잡아 끌었습니다.
Stared at him, still processing what had happened when Boss grabbed my arm and started running.
뒤를 다시 돌아보지는 못했어요.
Couldn't look back. I heard screaming from dozens of people, but
필요 이상으로 설명이
you seem to be fond of recounting unnecessary detail. Thank you, Owenham.
방송 섹터 안
Only after arriving here at the broadcast sector did I remember that Alyssa was still out there. When one's life is at risk, the brain instinctively reduces the processing of information to the bare minimum required for survival. It is only natural.
그 연구 계획서를 마지막으로 관리하던 건 저였습니다.
But I was the last person who handled that research proposal, boss.
알리사도 원래는 발표실에 있었어요.
Alyssa should have been at the conference hall too, with us.
있잖아. 그런 걸 일일이 따지다가는 진짜 남아있는 게 없을 것 같거든.
Hey, listen, if you want to look back and nitpick at literally every little thing you did in the past, we're going to be here forever.
뻔한 이유 같긴
I know it might sound like a bit of an empty platitude, but focus on what we can do right now. What we're going to do going forward, okay? You'll have time for regrets later. I suppose so.
저희 팀장님을 한 차례 구해주시길
You did save my boss once, so I guess it's only right that I should have more faith in you people than anyone else.
또한 실험의 일환이었다고 반박하고
I would like to clarify that the saving was but part of the experiment, but given the urgency, I will forego a more detailed explanation.
각자의 상황 설명은 끝난 것 같으니
It's like we're all caught up then? Good. Now let's share what we know. Moses began laying out the situation with the expertise befitting a leader of the LCD.
오늘 이후 본사 지하에 있는 LCA 부서에 침입자들이 습격하였다.
Today, intruders attacked the LCE department situated in the basement of HQ.
LCE 전 구역이 통제불능이 되었고
We lost control of the entire LCE facility, save for our current location. Every sector has been neutralized by a single or pair of intruders.
정상적인 의사소통이 가능할 정도로 생존해 있는 인원은 이곳에 모인 숫자가
Any survivor who's conscious enough to communicate properly is already here.
격리실까지 강제 개방. 밖은 더욱 혼란스러운 상태.
After the attack, every containment unit was also forcibly unlocked, adding even more fuel to the fire. We are beset by foes on every side. A search for a foothold is a difficult one indeed. True. If only these surveillance cameras weren't busted, I'd love to be able to keep track of their whereabouts. As I've repeated many times today, we are attempting to bring it back to operational status. You speak of restoring a sabotaged power grid like it's a task as simple as wiping one's glasses. More than anything, we need two pieces of information at the present. One, who are the attackers? Two, what objective brought them to the LCD? The man we encountered seemed to have a one-track mind, squarely set on killing as ordered. But there are far too many threads that point toward a motivation more complex than infiltrate the facility and slaughter its employees with abandon. Moses' deduction aligned with Otis's. If the assailants' goal was truly nothing more than slaughter, their first order of action should have been to unlock the containment units. The intruders are, yes, I have enough evidence to at least get a general idea of whom they might be. Do elaborate. There's the thumb nurse father who's stalling the red gaze. Then there's the member of the middle who attacked our researchers, and we've seen evidence of the ring's involvement too, given the presence of corpse mannequins. At least two or more fingers are involved in this attack. The Valkyr, the Kurokuma clan servers are here? Yet this is quite odd. Lady Moses, are the fingers not hostile against one another? Those ilk have no business coming even within a sleeve's breadth of each other, save when compelled to attend assemblies such as the Finger Bow Bell, where they oft quarrel to no end. Correct, but consider this from the officer perspective. There must be something of enough importance for the officers of each finger to put aside their differences and work hand in hand. Spiders, or the nurse fathers of the House of Spiders. That's what they're called. And we've just snared ourselves into the web they've spun. The fingers rarely ever cross the line they've drawn between each other. This strange entanglement certainly is a deviation. Nurse fathers, was it? Seems like a terribly meaningful title to me. And it can be presumed that the House of Spiders is a place to raise something or someone. To have such high-ranking officers in each finger gather at one place to nurture something. One might think that it hardly makes any sense, and indeed it doesn't, but what if their purpose itself is just as outrageous? That would paradoxically explain how they've come together. Ryoshu, is it? You seem to be inextricably tied to that place. IKWIW. I'm assuming I know what you want. Yeah. She just said, I know what you want. No need. I can understand her abbreviations. Hell yeah, Moses is smart. But I can't tell you what I know because it's all broken. The place the memories attached to it, I can see how they've shattered. Ryoshu does not like being read like a book. You don't need to recall everything. All I need to know is what that outrageous purpose is. What is it? Me. To forge me into a blade that cuts through all. But I left that place behind. Rush, can you tell us anything more? Shame, but that's all I have, Clock. I don't remember much more than that. Even if I did, it's not an easy thing to speak of. Ryoshu let out a protracted sigh, just as Moses did earlier. The long exhalation of someone who clearly craved a puff of smoke. It betrayed the aloofness she projected. Come to think of it, Ryoshu hasn't been smoking at all since we got here, or maybe since the truck. Clock, like she said, and like what you've seen, my mind is a mess. I have questions of my own, but the answers elude me. Maybe the pieces can be put back together. Can be put together using your hints, like the one you gave me earlier. So we have to solve this puzzle. So we have to solve this together. This puzzle or this game of escape room. Ryoshu muttered placidly. If it is you the House of Spiders wants, then I must ask you to entertain this question. Why did they bother attacking the HQ? Oh? As Moses began her explanation, Ryoshu looked in her direction with mild amusement. When you said you left the House of Spiders, I presume you meant you escaped it. Members of different fingers are hardly the kind of people to fraternize even on a good day, but this alliance of sorts they call the House of Spiders has persisted even after your departure. At a glance, it may only appear that they were simply waiting for your return. But given their behaviors today, they don't strike me as a particularly patient group as a whole. In other words, I find it suspicious that they decided to act now. If they were desperate, they would have made the move long ago. This leads me to believe that they were waiting for the right time. Whichever is their motive, Ryoshu, whether it is getting you back or doing something else, the fact remains that they have chosen this particular moment to act. The nurse father of the House of Spiders we encountered, she made way for us so that Ryoshu could come to the HQ research facility. She harbored such intense and complicated feelings for Ryoshu, but I don't think I got any sense that she was trying to kill or take Ryoshu with her. But she said that the nurse fathers were waiting for me here. Clearly they're here to see me, weirdo detective. Alright, hey, what the hell's your problem? Be calm, please. It is best that we do not interrupt their conversation. In intense dialogue shall they find and draw out the answer. Let us not dare stem this course. It's a fair assumption that the nurse fathers of the House of Spiders have attacked this place to provoke you. However, I can't seem to shake the thought that they must have a distinct objective. If they were indeed after Ryoshu and only Ryoshu, then choosing this specific time and place hardly seems to serve that purpose. The intervals between each of the sinners are different, but once a sinner's turn ends, another's begins, every single time without failure. This case has everything to do with Ryoshu, I believe, without a shred of doubt that it's her turn. Once the sinners relayed my words, Moses fell into a brief contemplation and began to mutter a sequence of words. Limbus Company, the mirror, the glass window, the former L Corp, extracted ego, enkephalin, psychomens, abnormalities, monolith, sinner Ryoshu. Can't think of too many things in the LCE research facility that could be what the House of Spiders is after. By process of elimination, the only reasonable answer that can be deduced is as follows. They're here for the golden bows. So that's how it is. Moses is right. It's become very important for us to look into Ryoshu's past, to reach in and see what lies there, but LCB's goal, its journeys and its stories have always been bound to the same terminus, obtaining the golden bows. Bows, however the fuck you want to say it, I don't give a shit. Hohenheim, where are the golden bows located in this facility? The manager would like to know where the location of the golden bows. At a laboratory in this facility. Hohenheim's gaze turned to me. Perhaps he was looking at the clock hands on my head. Very well, I suppose there's no way around sharing the contents of our presentation. Hohenheim's answer sounded more like a prolonged sigh. It was a presentation regarding our progress in the Golden Bow experimentation. A limited group of individuals with clearance to access the contents of that presentation does not include members of the LCB. Sorry, I should have I should have read his line. Hold on. Oi, aren't we the ones risking our necks out there to collect those bows? How come we're not allowed to? I am not the one who decides the scope of our security. Hohenheim, your concern is understandable. The company maintains tight control over any information regarding the golden bows. There's no way to know at this moment what the consequences of leaking this information without the company's explicit consent may be. If the worst comes to worst, we may even be subject to a memory wipe procedure. Exigent circumstances like this? Do you expect from a company practically built on secrecy and suspicion? True! Anyway, assuming the risks of divulging this information are understood and accepted by all parties present, let me get straight to the point. The golden bows, we were experimenting with grafting the retrieved bows onto one another. Grafting the bows. Then was the purpose to combine the bows to form a singular tree? Nothing slips by a fellow researcher, I suppose. Correct. We are incubating the golden bows under a very special environment to create a sapling. We haven't yet managed to graft them together into a proper tree, no, but that horizon is in sight. Today was the day we were to share the successes of the experiment with certain major characters and teams within the company until this happened. The golden bows are at the laboratory. Then we have to get to the laboratory before they do and secure the golden bows. We can't just waltz out on our own when this whole place might be crawling with enemies, right? Is there any way we can get in touch with the HQ right now? Did HQ even receive your support request? We did send a rescue signal to HQ an hour ago, but we have no way of knowing whether it was received. The attackers destroyed all our outgoing transmitters earlier. As long as they received a signal, any signal, it shouldn't take long until they recognize that the LCE is under attack by an overwhelming force. Assuming that the LCA has sent us support units, do we have an estimate on how long it might take for them to arrive? Even if they have to navigate around inaccessible passages currently present in the facility, should be no more than 10 minutes. 10 minutes? Then they should have been here already. They have either failed to receive the transmission or the power outage has trapped the reinforcements in the elevators. Yeah, if it weren't for Miss Sod bringing us up to speed, we wouldn't have thought of using the back door to come straight to this facility. If such is the case, then we need only reboot the power divider in the facility management room. Hey, Mr. Big Brain, if we want to restore this department from a shutdown state, we're going to have to take out all the distortions and abnormalities sauntering around, right? In order to perfectly restore the facility, yes, this place has been designed to be quarantined from every other department, if even a single abnormality has escaped into its halls. No use putting our heads together then, right? If you guys are scared of some abnormality or distortion, leave it to us. We'll kick their butts. Nobody said they're scared. Nobody said they're scared. I'm just saying we could benefit from practicing a bit of caution. Be wisest to prioritize restoring power to the facility. Seems that these attackers are making effective use of the dark. Executive Manager, I am of the opinion that we must split our forces in order to facilitate our operation given the urgency of the situation. The situation looks rather pressing for us to sit here and waste time debating what to tackle first. Once I nod in agreement, Otis quickly took control of the situation. Listen up, men. We prepare for two things, reconnaissance and extraction. Oh, extraction? You mean escape? Assuming that the LCA support will arrive, it would serve us best to move in tandem with them to improve our chances of launching a joint attack with numerical advantage. Sorry, a second. With numerical advantage over our enemies. Also, we have to stay mobile. We've held this position for too long. Our enemies will methodically kill and comb through the entire facility until they find what they're looking for. The more we remain stationary, the more likely we are to encounter them, and that will only elevate the risk of total obliteration. Makes sense. Besides, the others here ain't like us. Once they get killed, it's over for them. Another thing, don't forget that we have to reach the Golden Bows before our enemies do, whichever we end up prioritizing, we won't get anything done by staying holed up in here.
그럼 우리가 다 같이 나간다 쳤을 때 제일 먼저 갈 장소는 어디인가? 자네 말대로 황금가지의 회수나 전력복구 같이 한 번에 준비할 것이 많아 보이는데.
Very well, then, if we were all to leave this place at the same time, where should we prioritize? We have many pressing tasks, as you have explained. Golden Bow retrieval, facility power restoration.
통제실과 실험실 그리고 손상된 회로가 있는 복도는 좀 더 멀리 떨어져 있어.
But the facility management room to restore power to the facility, the laboratory, and the area where the damaged circuitry are all located far from each other. We divide and conquer. Securing the Golden Bow, restoring power, and suppressing abnormalities to clear a path for the reinforcements. They're all equally important and must be resolved concomitantly. And to do so, we must split into squads based on our expertise. Yeah, alrighty, we work better as a separate unit anyway. LCB here will be in charge of securing the Golden Bow, as our executive manager here has the ability to detect it whenever they are in proximity to one of them. Ooh, kind of like a battle detector? How dare you compare the executive manager to a I'll let that one slide, given the urgency. Anyway, we would like to leave abnormality, distortion, and spectacular suppression to the LCB. So that's totally our bread and butter. I mean, how many difficult abnormalities or distortions did you have contained in this facility? Combatant severe prowess should have no trouble suppressing most of them, save for 2, however, that might pose some trouble.
실험실끼리 통신할 때 쓰던 초소형 무전기를 주겠네. 너무 멀면 신호가 닿지 않지만 자네들에게 제압 방법을 설명하는 데 쓸만할 거야.
Limited range. Sorry a second. Give me a second, chat. Sorry about that, my nose started bleeding a little bit, but we got it under control now. Take these micro communicators with you. We use these to communicate between laboratories. While it has limited range, it should be useful enough for relaying the suppression tactic for each entity you come across. Perfect. We've secured a means of communication. For restoring power to the facility, I would like to designate that task to the LCE personnel here. I presume you are best acquainted with the layout of this facility out of all of us. A reasonable choice. The layout of this facility is more complicated than it might have first appeared to you. It is indeed one way to describe abysmal cable management. Please consider it but a representation of the entropic escalation phenomenon. Despite the way it looks, the setup is quite stable. Martin gave a handful of tiny radios to Otis, who distributed them to each of us. Very well, don't forget to keep each other updated. The acrid stench of smoke I'd much rather leave buried in the past keeps coming back. That was a pretty long story to me. Oh my god, is it all just story?
잊지 말게.
Don't forget, the golden bells are kept within a preservation container. Take extra care when you handle it. Okay, we've been working our butts off to retrieve those shiny twigs too. We know enough about their worth not to throw them around willy-nilly. Gregor's comment did nothing to deter Hohenheim, who kept voicing his warning again and again.
그럼 실험실은 그쪽이고
Our lab's that way, and the facility management room is. Ezra was tracing the available routes to guide the LCD members who arrived with Moses, while others crept down the corridor, alert for any dangers lurking in the hall shadows. What was that? There, the wall's dropping down. Huh? Hey, watch out, guys. The corridor was thrown into complete chaos.
이곳으로 오세요.
Sinclair, this way. Huh? I can't, it's too far. Is everyone fucking Merceau just standing behind Dante? Is everyone alright? It seemed that a quarantine system designed for abnormality containment breaches has just been activated. Merceau, who had been standing close by, replied in a monotonous voice. And just as he said, when I looked around, that was close. That wall nearly flattened us into pancakes. We're but a breath away from disaster. Shabby thing. What a WOT. Waste of time. Just when I think it couldn't get any worse. Just when I didn't think it could get any worse, it did. Sinclair muffled from the other side of a wall is hilarious. A waste of time. Where's Ryoshu, by the way? Manager Squire, where art thou? Sinclair and Don Quixote were desperately calling out from the other side of the wall. I think this is the first time we've ever been so completely separated from Dante. Then we can't even afford to get hurt. I don't see any abnormalities around. Now they've taken over the security wall controls too. They've effectively forced us to split up. Not to worry, Executive Manager, this is only a minor setback. Allow me to assume command of this unit for the time being. Oh, that's the first thing you're worried about? Shouldn't you be more concerned about Dante? This is going to be quite the predicament. Hohenheim let out a heavy sigh. Are you alright, team leader? I am. At least we have no injured among us. After all that planning, we ended up getting separated into completely random teams.
일단 나누어진 인원부터 파악하지.
First check who we have on each side. Okay, it's me, Merceau, Gregor, and Yisong here, also Ryoshu.
여기는 탐정님이랑 나
Got the detective, Miss Ongdu, and me over here, and Honglu, Ishmael, Rodian, and me, Otis too. As for us, Martin, the assistant, LCE team members, and the rest.
무엇인가?
The rest? Of whom speakest thou? Faustin is a phrase used by individuals who find it especially difficult to acknowledge their betters. Sinclair, me, Don Quixote, and Faust. No way we could get the security wall out of our way even with our combined effort. Master key card doesn't work either. It should be able to override the lockdown, but even the LCE wasn't having any luck on their side. There has to be a minor deviation, but it can't be helped. Advance according to plan. This unit, the LCD included, will neutralize any hostiles within the facility one threat at a time. We'll assist you with finding the trail as soon as we're done repairing the security cameras. Acknowledge the LCE and Hohenheim's team will secure the facility management room and prioritize restoring power. As for the executive manager's team, proceed to the laboratory for golden bow retrieval.
왜 나는 제압이야? 제일
Figures I'd end up on the team doing the fighting. What a pain.
우리는 먼저 이동한다.
Alright, alrighty, off we go. This is a really, hold on a second. This is a really good CG. I need this. I need this for my background.
내가 앞장서도록 하지.
I'll take the lead. The rest of you follow me. That Otis and the LCD's team's footsteps faded off into the distance on the opposite side. Oh no, we should get moving too, although I think it's just Martin and my assistant here will be enough to restore power to the facility management room. There seems to be a lack of proper structure in the generation and distribution of electricity here. It is regrettable that the facility lacks a backup mechanism to handle unforeseen emergencies of this sort. The breadth of my responsibilities is only natural that I would have been too busy to be responsible for the facility's design. However, when viewed independently, the structure of the laboratory itself is... Fret thyself not over so trifling a matter, young Heathcliff. She's right, with the three of us together, we'll be able to overcome whatever obstacle that gets in our way. Probably. The voices of Hohenheim and the other sinners also slip further away into the background. Should we get a move on too? Let us know if you sense the golden bow, manager bud. Okay. The two smokers of the group ended up in the same team. What are the odds? I'll never know how you managed to pull through these working conditions without taking a puff. There was a time when I partook, but I could not find any reason to maintain the habit. Yeah, thank you, Mersa. Oh, there was? What did you smoke? Most things that fall under the category of cigarette. I think he was one hell of a straight-laced fella. I partake in both categories of activities, those generally accepted as right and those accepted as wrong. Yisang, during my time among the old League of Nine literatures, I had once had an opportunity to engage in a few hits of the substance at the behest of my fellows. It was the one and only time everyone burst into laughter, though I found no enjoyment in smoking itself. What about you, Mr. Ryoshu? When did you first start smoking cigarettes? Every pair of eyes searched Ryoshu's face, but she didn't bother telling us her story, nor did she reveal any signs of unease or anxiety. What we saw on her face was inexplicable exhilaration, thrill, and as strange as it may seem, a fury chilling to the marrows. Beats me. I've always been surrounded by cigarette smoke ever since I was a brat. Wouldn't have guessed it any other way. It's your turn this time, isn't it? Yeah, so damn obvious that it makes me scoff. Oh, I fucking love... Oh, God, hold on. I'm talking with someone else right now. Yisang, how do you feel, Miss Ryoshu? To be faced with the past that stands before you. Simple. It's exciting. All that waiting finally paid off. I've noticed you haven't smoked one since this whole thing began, Ryoshu. Right. Trying to get used to staying off it. Meanwhile, back at the transporter truck. Oh my god, back at the transporter truck.
당신에게만큼은 없을 줄 알았는데 말이야.
Jeez, I never thought you, of all people, would have one.
우습지 않아? 이 보잘것없는 짐덩어리 하나 빼앗겼다고 천하의 붉은 시선이.
Funny, isn't it? The mighty and powerful red gaze loses this tiny little bundle of liability from his clutch, and he's suddenly too scared to even swing his sword right.
그래도 이해하지 못하는 건
Not that I don't understand. To have an unwanted burden you can't even push aside or kill off shoved into your care. I know what it's like all too well. I suppose I did want the little thing back then, but I never expected her to be such a nuisance. Lucio's been digging around, and looks like you don't have any connection whatsoever to this half-pint here. Could it be you got a specific use for her? Explain that you need her for something. Explains why you're letting that dead weight tag along. Perhaps she's like my ticket, or textbook over there. A pain in the ass you'd much rather kill off, but can't because you need it to make the future you long for come true. We sure have a lot in common, don't we? I would let her do things to me. Oh my god, this is the dude. The dude, yeah, this is the dude your silly Lala is named after. Fuck this guy. Valencina, though. I would let Valencina do things to me. You. I know why you're provoking me with that pointless rambling. Your friends are out on a mission. You're making sure I don't get in their way till you get the all clear. However, just because my sword isn't cleaving across your throat doesn't mean I won't collect your little lackey's head. Keep that in mind. This should be interesting. Do your worst. Curious to see how long the textbook I took so painstakingly crafted for my ticket would last against a color fixer, aren't you? Roseate Desire. Continuable. I don't want to use a continue. Fuck. These three are not a team that I Oh, who the fuck? This is not. I don't have a good team for these four. I really don't have I don't have a team.
실시해.
Oh, all right. Well, let's fucking try it. Keep running into these mannequins. Are they made by those nurse fathers? Yes. To be more specific, it's just the ring nurse father. Corporism, an art movement that utilizes the interaction between human bones and muscles, the contraction and the elongation thereof, with a splash of cubist technique, it seems. Nasty. Observe closer. Do you see them? Writings carved into their bodies. These corpses were engraved with a wild scrawl of a message, carved with a blade. They began shuffling at us in that uncanny rhythm entirely devoid of any semblance of will. Dearest. Dearest daughter of ours, please pay close attention to the way the line curves. From ribs we can make blades keener than any sword. From femurs we can make bludgeons sturdier than any mace. The thoracic cage has taken this prepossessing yet hardy shape of an arch to keep the heart and lungs from harm. Preserve this natural beauty of the human corpus and do not infringe upon its primeval precise value. That is the reverence with which the act of creation must be handled, just as musicians handle a priceless instrument. Touch it if you will. Do your fingertips feel the contour of a blade along the grains of musculature, its tendons and sinews? Yoshihide. Bones of the one most desperate for life have become a blade best fit to reach. Indeed it has, hasn't it? I knew from the fathoms of my heart that you could appreciate the true value of this piece, Yoshihide. To care to put this piece I have so painstakingly birthed into the world is greater than that of any other work of mine. The smallest fracture or imbalance could instantly render it useless. Once this fleet is complete, dearest Yoshihide, I would like for you to wield it. I will. Never got to finish that precious piece he'd always ramble on about, did he? Ryoshi muttered to herself. We're just gonna win rate this, I guess. Yeah, we're just gonna win rate this shit. That's not great. That's really not great. Slightly less. It's off. Fucking Tremor hits hard. I'm not sure if we're gonna clear this in 10 turns or less. We're already at 5 and we've only killed 3 enemies. But maybe. Anything's possible. These are the only 4 guys left. It's very possibly win this then in the right amount of time. Suddenly one day, my arm had changed. Damn, if only that hit just a little bit harder that he would have staggered to. Right, 2 left. Okay, yeah, no, fucking we win this here. This is over right now, I think. We should be doing enough damage here. There we go.
당연한 걸 한 것 가지고 굳이 칭찬할 필요 없어. 오늘도 정말 멋진 활약이었어. 내일도 꼭 불러주기야. 세상이 평화로워지는 건 기쁜 거야. 근데 내일도 지금처럼 조용하려나?
I do like the longer voice lines for announcers, but I don't like that. Like they're cool the first couple times you hear them. And then it's just like, oh my god, let me out of the mission, please.
내 놈들 덕분에 내가 강해진 게 아니야. 내가 강하기에 내 놈들을 휘두른 거지.
Singling artistry, it's just straight into a fight. Okay. The same team.
기다려라.
Just keep do the same thing.
곧 먹이를 먹여주지.
주분께서 너희에게 거는 기대가 크더군. 최선을 다해라.
주군께서는 사소한 실수로 책잡지 아니하시니 너무 긴장하지 말고 있는데.
죄인인가?
keep setting it as is for now. 9 o'clock again. Meant to stream earlier today, but I forgot it was maintenance for. Forgot it was Wednesday, rather. And Priest already staggered? That shit's crazy, bro.
나만 믿고 다들 집중해줘. 도움이 될 수 있을 거야.
Ideals. That was supposed to be a struggling, by the way, and then it just won the clash.
와, 방금 건 엄청 고통스러웠다. 똑같이 자격을 제어 대체에게 맞는 정상적인 공격. 잘했어. 티페리트. 당연한 걸 한 것 가지고 굳이 칭찬할 필요 없어.
I want to keep some of our heavy hitting attacks for the second set of enemies.
내가 알아서 처리. 내가 알아서 처리.
한 도구를 넘긴 것 같아. 믿었던 일은 너무 잘해주고 있어. 방금 칭찬 들었지? 이거는
Just like
필요
that, just
없다고
like that.
생각해. 아직 끝난 것도 아니니까.
Do that, make the clash dominating.
그런 방식은 적합하지 않을 것 같은데. 아니야, 티페리트. 생각해봐.
Or out of that. So there's still gonna be one more enemy that shows up.
어느 멍청이가 모르는
I have 3 turns to kill all these guys, plus that. 7, 8. Or technically 4 turns. This turn and then 3. Perhaps just try this angle again. Pretty good, pretty good. I think we just got like 2? Maybe 3? Got 3. Oh, yeah. I think we just win here, honestly.
방금 했던 공격은 매우 효과.
Obviously not with this sets of attacks, but I think we just win here.
공격은 더 잘할 수 있도록.
Like this turn. Yeah. Easily we win this turn.
무기로 때리시.
Yeah.
예상한 것보다
Hell yeah.
가 정상으로 돌아갔네. 이번 제압은 끝이야. 너희들도 고생 많았어. 티페리트, 너도. 언젠가 우리도 모든 게 끝날 때가 오면 좋겠네. 그때가 되면 휴식을 기다리며 고향의 노래를 부르고 있겠지.
착각하지 마. 해, 겉에. 내 놈들 덕분에 내가 강해진 게 아니다. 내가 강하기에 내 놈들을 휘두르는 거지.
More story. Let's see. Back up. We're almost to the second half. We're almost to the second third, I should say, I guess. Almost through with the first third. The elevator up ahead is operational. See the light of the elevator beyond the lockdown door. Facility management.
LCA 특작팀이라 했나?
Give me that. Oi, oi, you alright, mate? Oh, the heck, no need to shout into the mic, Heathcliff. We can hear you just fine. Apologies. My assistant's temperament leans on the more impatient side. Senator Otis's conjecture was correct. After arriving at the facility management room, we have been observing the hallways through the device here. The video's feed quality, well, it leaves much to be desired, but the LCA has arrived at this sector. Can confirm that on this end as well. We have visual on LCA units past the lockdown shutters. But all I've managed so far is to remove one security wall in your path. It has nothing to do with the restoring the internal elevators leading to the other departments.
이제 부상자들을 안전한 곳으로.
Not quite. Yeah, no, it means the entire facility has to be restored in order to return upstairs. It is indeed a relief, however, that some of the it seems the agents have been deployed to each sector. They should be able to secure the rest of the shutters. Heard. So I'm gonna stop reading as much out loud because my throat's starting to hurt, but I want to keep going. Heard they're a rather formidable combat force, even by the standards of the city as a whole.
정면.
Eyes forward. Lights flickered and three LCA agents who were advancing while covering the front of their squad simultaneously fell to the floor without so much as a scream. Like a broken lamp, the light past the security wall continues to flicker. Between each flicker of the malfunctioning light, the outline of the intruder's weapon seemed to shift into a different shape. At First, the shadow stretched into a sharp tip of a pick. Then, after several more flickers, it took on the more familiar outline of an axe, very much resembling Rhodia's own. Judging by their appearance and gear, it is likely that they are the LCA's reconnaissance specialized unit, most likely in the same vein as the team that arrived at the Model 3 mission. Recon team or not, how did the intruder manage to wipe out such a well-trained team all on his own? Hohenheim, do you hear us? Indeed. Has the LCA taken care of the situation already on your end? You mustn't step foot out into the hallway. The LCA reinforcements sent to our sector. They're all dead. What? This battle, fought in an open field, even the LCA's reconnaissance team alone would have sufficed to avoid defeat. However, this is what happens to prey who forget they've been snared in a spider's web. They'll never fight on even ground, always drawing their prey to locations where they have the absolute advantage. They wouldn't have lost in an open field, you say. It's meaningless to speculate over what'll never happen. Look, his prey ensured their demise by walking into his hunting ground. What Melissa had described earlier was becoming more and more apparent to us. A relaxed but disciplined gait. The man, after having slaughtered dozens of LCA agents, slowly turned to face us, his sharp-dressed shoes lazily clopping against the floor. Seemed to have been aware of our presence from the get-go. Light dances across the glossy surface of his white mask. He returns a smile in response to Ryoshi's furious wrath. Then his lips part, soundlessly mouthing a sentence, word by word. Hi, sweetheart. How did your reviews go? Hey, sweetheart. How did your training go? Same old, dull and boring. Dad, that wound on your arm. Did you do that to yourself? Yes, I had to stab my opponent with a knife 38 times through my own arm. Give me just a second. The 20th stab was where it really began to hurt. They said the pain of burning hurts at least 100 times worse than the pain of getting stabbed. Did you know that? So you have to take care of someone. So when you have to take care of someone, I hope you won't use fire. Lest their death be slow and their dying breath curses your name on the long descent into hell. Don't they deserve to watch their lives flash before their eyes in relative peace? Okay. Come closer. You've got a scratch on your cheek. It happened during Valencina's class, didn't it? Her methods are simply too violent. She's the kind of teacher who uses the number of scars as a measure of training intensity and effectiveness. Take good care of that wound so it doesn't scar, okay? Whatever. What LC has told us through the transmission is true, then the executive manager is in danger. I'm just as concerned as you are, Otis, but we're not exactly out of the woods yet either. Security camera feed's working again? Yeah, it's pointed right in front of our door, but come see. If my memory fails me, this man's attire suggests he is the middle. Guess we know what happened to the LCA in the other sector. Each, this guy's practically tearing people apart. Is he shouting something? I can't quite hear what he's saying through the feed. Yoshihide. He is shouting Yoshihide, repeatedly so. He fills the silence between them with a boisterous guffaw. Face split into a wide grin, his body convulsing with laughter. What joy does this madman find in this carnage? That's right. Wow, that's an insanely powerful click. Flung that guy all the way to the other side of the hallway. The footage is pretty blurry, but do you think he's got a prosthetic leg? Or maybe not. I guess a leg covered completely in augmentation tattoos would look something like that. Are you looking at Papa's mighty bear paw? Oh my god! Who the heck are you? Who am I? Hi, I'm Kira. Good approach. Men, battle positions. Oh, you guys got it all wrong. You're watching my papa work, aren't you? Don't mind me, Kay. I'm not gonna pick a fight with you guys. I'll just hang around here while you guys get the important stuff done. Carry on. Watch him work. Your pop, that guy's your dad? Uh-huh. Isn't he like super badass? I love her. Yo, did you guys see that? Gosh, that text straight up fires. So dope. I'm trying to recreate that myself, but it's not the same, you know? How's he doing that? Totally folded that guy up and tossed him like a baseball all the way to the other end of the hallway. Treat a massacre is no different from a game or sport. What a contemptible scoundrel you make. Oh, so you're into that kind of character, huh? Sick. I'm a huge fan of him too. Did you read the latest issue of the Cloudburst Blade? There's this new character who talks just like you do. Like, lifting his bamboo hat, he goes. Wait, you don't know the Cloudburst Blade? Oh man, I've been trying to sell it to everyone.
논리적으로 말이 안 되는 게 너무 많대. 그게 제대로 된 감상이냐고. 왜 만화책이 그런 걸 따져? 걔랑은 아무튼 처음부터 끝까지 안 맞는다니까.
I'm trying to sell it to everyone I know, but no one's interested. One of them's obsessed with training all day. One of them talks to her sword all day. One of them just wanders all over the place all day. The other one, you know what she said? I think the story indulges in far too many logical fallacies. What the heck kind of book review is that? Like, bro, who wastes time nitpicking about what makes sense and what doesn't when reading a comic book? Gosh, I don't think I'd ever vibe with that girl. Anywho, has anyone here actually read the Cloudburst Blade? If you did, well, if I may have, but 4 hours of your time could. Enough. If you thought you could distract us with your nonsensical prattle, think again. Otis, I don't see the middle nurse father on the feed anymore. If she's his apprentice, then...
근처에서 놀고 있으랬더니 뭐 이렇게 멀리 왔어?
Kiddo, what are you doing all the way out here? Haven't I asked you not to wander too far? Drat. No more transmissions. They've all gone quiet. Hark, young Ishmael, young Otis, wherefore doth none respond? Matched with us, we're all in the dark. So the equal its operational capacity. The sooner we obtain access to the security wall controls, the sooner we can coordinate with each other. But we should be able to locate one of the lost pieces of circuitry in this room. These remains. The ring has made its mark here. Don't force yourself to look so hard at them. No, disgust as an emotion holds very little sway over me. It's just that, boss. Don't look at their faces and try to tell who's who. Right, I lost my focus for a moment there. Let's carry on. What? Is there anything you wish to say to me? This is highly irregular, but it seems that Faust also expresses agreement with Hohenheim. Agreement with what? That we must restore the facility with as much haste as we can employ. Have a great night. It was cool to get to see this game. I don't think I've ever seen this much of it. Yeah, the game's great. The game's great. I probably do have time to do one more node. Yeah, 30 minutes, we can do one more node.
기다려라, 거태. 곧 먹이를 먹여주지.
Leaving behind the perpetrator of the carnage, greeting Ryosho on the other side of the security wall, we had no other choice but to make our way toward the lab. Perhaps this question of mine is one you might not wish to grace with an answer, and if it indeed is, do feel free to let it float past. But what is your connection to these so-called nurse fathers? Your relationship with them does not seem to have been brewed in mere bad blood. And in the change of your countenance I sensed a flash of something almost imperceptible. I haven't put all the pieces together just yet, but they were nurse fathers. My fathers who forged the sword that I am. Oh really? How that just straight into a fire. Okay.
두려움을 모르는 건 나쁘지 않습니다만 좀 무식하게 돌격하실 거라면 전 빠지겠습니다.
기체가 조금 유리한 환경에 놓이게 된 것 같아. 하지만 우리가 걱정할 건 하나도 없어. 최선을 다할 거잖아.
죄인인가?
Just send it. If things lose a little bit, it's not too bad. It's not the end of the world. That's
폐장병같이 높을 꿇고 있을 때 식상 수단이죠. 평소처럼 납세를 일으켜 같이 상황을 개선해 보시죠.
Hey, thanks for stopping by though, Silver. They fucking just killed Priest Gregor? That's crazy.
부족해 찾아졌지 않아. 지금이다. 해골바가 어미 대가리. 부족해 찾아졌지 않아.
제약 효과가 굉장히 좋았어. 기록적인 최일행인 것 같아.
I'm just gonna win rate spam and hope it works out in the end.
직원이 안 좋은 상태에 놓인 것 같아. 고작 이런 걸로 나약해지지 않도록 모두가 잘 지켜봐줘야겠지?
너무 오래 보고 있지. 혼내하다가 보여지지 않는
이곳은 위험하다.
배가 낯대고 뭐가 치워라.
여기서 그런 공격이 잘 먹히는군요.
적이 술에 취한 한량처럼 허둥거리니 승기를 세운다면 지금이겠구나.
배가 낯대고
숨은 것들이 옥죄어온다.
조심하라고
Should pull this off.
빛의 힘이 저 어둡고 악한 아르카라니
Yeah, we win this.
그냥 승리도 시간 문제겠지?
지금이 대골바가지 범이 대가리 자!
샤프잖아. 예상한 것보다 움직임이 좋군.
모두 봤지? 방금 적절한 공격이 아니었어. 실수였을까? 아니면 노력이 부족했을까?
찍어야
내 죄는 내가 알아서 처리
완성되었네.
악당 패치 성공! 오늘도 정말 멋진
We did
활약이었어.
it.
내일도 꼭 불러주기야. 세상이 평화로워지는 건 기쁜 거야. 근데 내일도 지금처럼 조용하려나?
착각하지 마라. 해, 거, 내 놈들 덕분에 내가 강해진 게 아니다. 내가 강하기에 내 놈들을 휘두른 거지.
Alright, we're gonna do a gotcha. We're gonna do a gotcha real quick. All dupes. Fucking hate it here. Let's see if we can get. We can kill this section.
부디 정신을 유지할 수 있기를.
Like we're here, it's the lab. The LCD and LCD haven't reached out again since the last transmission. I only hope that no misfortune befell them. Hey, manager buddy, are you picking up on anything? I'm Golden Bow. If those people got it before us. Oh yeah, I don't think they did. It's still in there. Hohenheim will be relieved to hear that. Completely dark inside. The assailants were indeed after the Golden Bow. What could they possibly want with it? There's a stench coming from up ahead, a sickeningly familiar one. Even in the cloying darkness of the unit lab, Ryoshu seemed to notice something out of place. You smell something. I don't smell anything other than you're sick. Yeah, you haven't been smoking for a hot minute. Only silence welcomed us in the lab. We couldn't hear any breathing, but there was without a doubt the stink of cigarettes and a chilling disembodied sense of dread we couldn't exactly put our finger on. When I left that place, I remember feeling a strong contempt for someone. It had to have been. She started muttering as though she was gripped by the chill. She wasn't speaking to me, though. It seemed as though she was wading through a bog of mutilated memories to cling to her emotions at that moment. Star, you all along you wanted to make me suffer to the bitter end, haven't you? Audacity. You think I'm the one making you suffer, Yoshihide? You realize that you've always been the one obstacle in my life, don't you? Only way for us to get even. It never stops. The sound of the fetter on my feet, rusted and heavy. Clinks and rattles. The vision of the past reassures her sword in an agonizingly slow motion, unsheathing the blade that we've never seen revealed before. A white blade of such unfeeling purity, devoid of even the trace of mercy in its pale edge. For a second, I was blinded by the glint of the blade. Ryoshu's clutched the hooded figure's jaw in her crushing grip. Then, without a moment's hesitation, she drove the blindingly bright sword into the figure's mouth. She pulled out the sword in a single swift motion. The figure coughed out a thick glob of blood and a piece of her sliced tongue. But she spat out more than just the bloody chunk of flesh. A guffaw hacked its way out of her mouth. The triumphant laughter of one who had just seized the victory of one's life. Deep, ragged breath, Ryoshu let the sword fall from her grip. She stood rooted in her spot, staring at the wailing figure with a look of pure confusion. Isotpita, insidious stench of the past in the air. And right now, right before Ryoshu's eyes, the vivid present from the memories came to life in the form of a white silhouette. Her hand slowly brushing the lips from beyond which no tongue laid, as if to remember the absence of the organ that Ryoshu had so mercilessly cut off. Like a lone watchman who had been keeping vigil awaiting our arrival. The mouth that lost its tongue faced Ryoshu without opening even once. But I think I heard a whisper of a hollow sigh escaping between her lips. Because of my 5 fathers, I had to leave behind the single most important thing in this world. That is why I must take it back. So happy to see you again, Ryoshu. I mean it. Such were the words my master bade me to relay. The pinky nurse father. As my master expects not from my insignificant self, I am but a blade rusting amid the quiet turn of nature, doomed to ever endure the dullness of today's and the empties of tomorrow's. And therein, owing to your pursuit of the spider's thread, I am once again granted with a chance to carry out my master's will. Another talker, piss off. Sir Apprentice approached us. Ryoshu's nurse father slowly stepped away, toward where the container of the golden bows lay nestled and emanating a soft glow. The preparations are complete. I trust you have not forgotten the plan. Where the nurse father had left, a figure clad in steel armor entered. What the?
기술이 접목된 모구라기에
Armament looks a little too crude to be a piece of gear imbued with advanced technology.
시클레어군의 짐.
Looks akin to the torture device we had previously seen in the basement of Sinclair's home.
살도
No flesh, no blood, no bones to show in a fight.
내게 보여줄 예술
For an artwork meant for my eyes, its aesthetics are lacking in class.
이런 상황에서의 침묵.
Keeping your mouth shut even in a moment like this, did he not teach you there's no beauty to be found in it? I want him here. Where is the ring nurse father? The armored figure answered Ryoshu's question with a swing of their huge sword. And take care of this quick and to find out the bone about. Let's find them all
제법
out.
미학을 깨우쳤군 씨.
You're starting to pick up the rudiments of aesthetics, Clock. Watch as I demonstrate the meaning of AOS. I have no fucking idea what she meant by AOS. Just evade everything.
너가 쏘라.
좀 찍었네.
That was rough. I don't think we're winning this fight tonight.
정의로운 날이 될 수 있도록 힘내자. 다 함께 아르카나 비.
57 in a single coin. That's crazy.
확실히 후회는 질문을 순간해주시. 앞으로 위험한 순간을
That's rough. And he got all his shield back. Okay, yeah, we're not clearing this fight.
이 기회에 평소 제일 실력을 확인해 보죠. 해보십시오.
Alright, we're gonna call it here tonight, chat.
쓸모없는
Appreciate you all for stopping by.
아니, 어쩌면 내가 선택받은 내가 아니었어서.
Appreciate you all for stopping by. We're gonna wrap up here though. Be sure to follow us on Blue Sky at coyotesanonymous.gay. And yeah, good night.